Welcome, everybody. Welcome to a Monday morning. Here we are. Everybody had an amazing weekend. I know you did. And you got stuff done. You spent time with family. Welcome to getting your week started again here at Coffee Hour. My name is Paul Abernathy. If not familiar with who I am the CEO and founder of Electrical Code Academy. And I bring you electrical exam preparation and a bunch of other electrical stuff. But I also bring you Trade Hog as well. And Trade Hog is a platform that is designed to help make things run better in your day-to-day, help you solve issues, complex issues, just to ask questions. That we always wanted somebody to be able to ask questions to. And you use me a lot. I get a lot of emails. But Trade Hog is going to be fitting that bill as well. So we're excited about Trade Hog. We thank everybody that's been signing up for that platform. Again, Office Hog is also included. That's the back end piece that you can use for contracts and all kinds of stuff. You can cut and paste anything in there and it will analyze it for you, that type of thing. So we had a great week. I guess it was a week before last. We did the standard method, and which is basically the normal method, part 3 of Article 220. We did that and got a great feedback on that. And so in order to see how it's diverse when it comes to what we probably will all do in the field, is we probably all will utilize the optional method. With that said, we're going to be doing the optional method today and talking about it. And that should clear things up about the questions about whether or not doing optional versus standard method. You have to understand how to do the standard method. And bear with me for a second, because my freaking lips look like I got lipstick on or something. I hate changing during the midstream, but that's driving me absolutely crazy. It's like I got to worry about whether or not Paul can be in women's sports or something. I don't know what the heck's going on. Paul doesn't want to be in women's sports, so anyway. All right, enough of that. Okay. So anyway, we're going to cover the optional method today as much as we can. If it carries over tomorrow, we'll carry it over in tomorrow. It's a lot of information for an hour, but we'll do our best to do that. As always, folks, do me a favor. In the comments, shout out. Let me know who you are, where you're from, whether you're in this program or not, whatever you want to let me know. Also, remember that at any time you do the spin to win and get in on it, it's all caps now. Remember that. Capital, hashtag WIN, not lowercase. All uppercase. It's the best chance because I don't control what happens there. So I'm just telling you. All you do is that's how you get in on it. I don't control the software. That's just what it is. So anywho, thanks for joining me. Let's do our normal shout outs here in the morning real quick and get everybody kind of shouted out at too. Adam, got my coffee. You got your coffee too. Scratch paper. Let's go. Paul, good morning. From down in Houston, rodeo season. There you go. Get in on those rodeos. And there's example, folks, of how to do it right there. Hashtag win. Get you in on the spin. Nepo, good morning. Getting the week started. Glad to have you here. Samantha, joining us on YouTube this time. Good morning. Glad to have you here. Let's see here. We got Christopher. Good morning, Christopher. All right, melting toast. Let's get that right. Hashtag capital win, bro. Want to make sure you get in on the spin. I don't know that the lowercase works or not, but you can be my test guinea pig today if you want to see if it'll work. What's up, Bueno? David, how you doing? Good morning. You're most welcome. I try to do the best I can. There we go, melting pot. There you go. You got it right there. Simplex is in the house. James, thanks for joining us over on the tube. And looks like he's up. There you go. Alabama. That's what I'm talking about. Vin Man, I see you. Good morning. Thanks for joining me. We got Crypto. Good morning. Thanks for joining me. All right. We got our usuals here. So everybody, again, thanks for joining me. Let's get into it and going to get into our lesson today. And as always, if you have any comments during the lesson, please do me a favor. Feel free to comment. That's what we're here for. That's why you come to kind of get your morning started. It's not always just about exam prep. It's about all kinds of things. Here you can bounce things off of me, ask me questions. I do my best to answer them. Remember, if it's a really long question that you have and it's kind of been boiling up inside of you and you're like, oh, I got to answer. If it's really long, you know what? Do us all a favor. Go to paulabernathy.com and post your question because that allows you to post more information and allows me to really dig into it and give you a really reliable response. Right here, it's very hard for me to give a response. I'll give you a great example. The other day, somebody asked, will we ever have grounding electrodes on a primary side of a transformer? And off the cuff, I'm like, no, not that I can think of for normal applications, but there are transformers out there where the primary side is grounded. And so they basically have instead of it being the straight 480 primary side, it comes in and they establish that connection on the primary side, and they would drive an electrode and connect it to the primary side. So I misspoke because that's not the typical application that we would see. But there are rare applications out there, and you're always going to run into something. I don't know it all. So as a consultant, it's my responsibility to, when people send me questions, and if I have to go to court or I have to do expert witness or whatever, and that's what a consultant does. It's not here spitting out code, you know what I'm saying, in a chat type of thing, because it's very difficult. Generic stuff, yeah, but deep down stuff that sometimes when you generate questions internally, you're like, I just don't know the answer. It comes from a long time of you just not knowing it and really eating away at you. Well, give an educator like myself the ability to go and educationally evaluate it. And that's why we use paulabernathy.com rather than the live. Now, general stuff, I don't care if you ask. I don't have a problem with it. I'll try to answer what I can. But some of those oddball ones, as a consultant, I never answer off the cuff because we have to make sure that when we make a statement, especially anything you say today can be used, and we want to be able to, somebody's used my videos in court before. People have used my statements to help them out in court before, and I've been hired as expert witness. So again, understand that, and so we do our best to give you that information. Let's see here real quick. We got Edgar. Thanks for joining us. David, right up the road. Culpeper. David, some point we have to get together, maybe have some coffee. I don't mind coming up to Culpeper. I don't have a problem with that. I love it. Culpeper is just right down the road from me. Since we moved the offices back here, that type of thing. All right, let's go and get into today's lesson. Thanks everybody for joining, and just continue to let me know who you are, where you're from, and all that kind of stuff. So let's get into the lesson. So here we go. So a little change you guys see in the screen. We're always updating stuff. So people said they wanted the comments to be here while we're going through it. So there you go. You got your comments there. All right, so we're going to be looking at the optional method today and how it differs from the standard method. And this should go pretty quickly. We're going to be using our same scenario as we've done before. I mean, you obviously cannot do a calculation on a house. I talked to my brother the other day, and he's, my brother is amazing. Good morning, Angel. Thanks for joining. My brother is an amazing contractor, amazing electrician. He's been doing it so many years that he's basically come out with his square foot method that he uses, and it's very reliable. To me, I would cringe at it, but he has just done it for so long and he's good at it. I'll give you an example. He's pricing a house that a competitor electrician priced it at $90,000 to do the electrical. Okay, it's a little over 6,000 square foot house. It's a custom build. For me, I thought that was high, right? I was like, $90,000. Is that where we are at today in construction? That Jesus, I get back into building, get back into contracting. But when he did it through square footage, he's told the guy, he says he could do it for 45. And I'm like, Jesus, that's a big difference between 90 and 45. But again, it has to do with burdens and overheads and all that. And Todd doesn't have the overheads that contractor probably has. That contractor can probably get it done quicker than Todd can because he's a 1 and 2 man show. So all being relative. But when I looked at that, I was like, there is an opportunity. The fact that I would never do it that way. If I knew my competitor was in at 90 and they were happy with the 90 and they wanted to offer me a chance to bid, and in this case, he knows everybody, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'd come in maybe 10% less and still reap the benefits. I mean, we are in a dog eat dog world, right? But I would have probably plugged it into my estimating software. And so I might do that just with that to see, so I can show Todd's square footage, which he's basing about $6 a square foot, versus how I would do it with an estimating software. That's how I would do it. But anyway, he's used to doing that. But I just feel like you're leaving money on the table. But Todd's got the biggest freaking heart I've ever seen. And he's like, no, that 90 is way too high. We can do it. It can be done for 45 to 50 and easily. A very upscale house. And I'm like, okay, but I hate that square footage method. I hate just kind of like spitballing. I just always have been the kind of person that likes to plug that stuff in. You know what I'm saying? All right, anyway, so as with always, we need to gather, whether it's a standard method or optional method, we need to gather all of the information that's necessary to be able to do the calculation. If you're used to looking at something, you've done a million of them, you might do something like, okay, this is what it is per square foot. Yeah, it's based on historically what you've charged and what you've done. If you've got, and maybe that's what Todd's doing. Historically, he knows because he's wiring a 9,000 square foot house right now. And it's actually one we'll be doing some videos on, the finished part, not the rough end part. That's for the next house that he's doing. And I'm going to be sharing that with you on my channels. But at the end of the day, he knows what he's doing. It's his deal. All right. Okay. So we have to get all of the information. I need to know what the ranges are, cooking appliances. I need to know what the dishwashers are. So you have to have this communication with the buyer, with the builder. It's just, you have to have it and you have to demand it if you want to do it right. If you're just going to spitball it, okay. But, and I also should say my brother isn't really big on change orders either. He'll just do it and fix it for people. If anybody's, I love my brother to death, but if anybody's ever heard me talk about the history of me and my brother as when we started the business, I'm all about change orders. If you want it fixed, I'm going to charge you. I'm going to get paid. Todd's the kind of guy, just a great guy. You know, he's like, oh, I'll take care of that for you. I'll fix that for you. I'll do that for you. Oh, I'm sorry. You want more recesses? Okay, I'll just charge you the cost of the recess, but I'll take care of everything else. I'm not that guy. Okay, so that's why me and my brother split up years ago. You know what I'm saying? And amongst the other things, we just went our own direction. But an amazing electrician and one of my inspirations for why I got into the business. Okay. All right, enough of that. All right, so same as our last house we did. We have all the data. We pulled it from the people. They've given it to us. We've asked it. We know the measurements. We've looked at the drawings. We know that this dwelling is 35 by 55. We know that there is a front porch, which is 7 by 10, but it's in the overall footprint of that 55 by 35. So we're going to have to address that. Good morning, Manny. Good morning, Tito. Good morning, Juan. Good morning, Tyler. Thanks for joining. So in our existing dwelling that we did before, when we did the standard, let's do that hashtag win in all caps, Tino. Want to make sure you get in on the spin. All caps, all caps, all caps. All right. So we know we have 4 small appliance branch circuits. We know we have 2 laundry circuits. We know what our water heater is. It's a 4,500 watt water heater, or 4.5 kW water heater. We know we have a dishwasher, 10 amps. We know we have an in-sink waste disposer. There you go, Tino. We have a trash compactor. We have 3 attic fans spinning it around. Zeker, thanks for joining. Glad to have you here. We have a clothes dryer, 5.5. We have a counter-mounted cooking unit, cooktop, 7 kW. We have a wall-mounted oven. Thank you, Yan and Nikki. That is awesome. It's been a long time since we've got any of those donations over on YouTube. So, wow. And Yan and Nikki used to do this a lot. I think they actually follow me also over on Google Maps, I think. I think, I'm not sure if they do or not, but I saw that. So good morning. But again, we love when we get those donations. Everything goes back into the company. I don't take a salary from that. So I'm paid through the board. So, but thank y'all. Definitely. Make sure #win, all caps. All right. But over on YouTube, I forgot that you could do the super chat stuff. But that's awesome. Appreciate that. There you go. Look at that right there. I didn't know you could. I forgot that you could actually do that. Every bit of it helps, and I appreciate it. All right. Where are we at? Okay. Next is we got the wall-mounted oven is 6 kW. We got the 15 kW, which is our 3 heat. There we go. We've got air handler. We got air conditioning compressor, and we got a condensing fan motor. So we got all the goodies. So we did our math. Okay. What has Zeker got? Zeker's got an announcement. We always love announcements. So we want to see here. What do we got here? Zeker says, I passed my test. I wanted to thank you for everything you do. Watching your videos and your lives help so much. Well, congratulations. We got to have some applause. There you go, Zeker. And I always love to do this. Welcome to the licensed world. I'm a big believer in licensure. Y'all know that. So again, amazing, Zeker. Congratulations. You earned it. All right, so we got all our goodies. We got what we needed. Okay, let's see here. First thing we have to do, as we did with the standard method. So you're going to see something when we start off that's very similar. Okay, similar processes. First thing we do is we need to go to 220.82. Okay, all right, so just to make sure that we do that, let's go over to the code and let's get where we need to be first. So we make sure we're in the code and let's go down to, and you're going to notice, and I'll show you here, you can see on the left right here, we're in part 4 and we're doing the optional method. Okay, with me, yada, yada. There you go. And there's 220.82 and we're going to click it right there. So this is where we're going to be working out of. Now, I will remind folks that in future episodes, like the next series, we'll be dabbling into multifamily dwellings. Okay, so we'll show you how to do that as well. The individual dwelling units we're taking care of kind of now. But then we'll also show you the multifamily in 220.84 when you have more than 3. So when you're getting into more of a multifamily. Don't worry, we're going to cover all kinds of things here on Coffee Hour. If you're not subscribed and you're not following and you're not learning, something's wrong with you. Ain't nothing wrong with me. Okay, I'm just saying. All right, so here we go. So here we are, we're in it. Now let's look at it. It says, now also be aware that this program here is designed to kind of meld 2020 and 2023. So be cognizant of code references if there's any changes, because I'm trying to meld it together and it's always expanding. And always let's look for errors, because sometimes I use these programs in other courses that I teach and I put stuff in here to see if the class can actually find it or if it brings up anything. So always be aware that my programs are always changing, okay? And I'm always adding crap in just to try to throw people off or do something. All right, so let's see here. So the first part is part B. All right, so let's see. Part B is the general loads. All right, so if you're following along in your code book, this is the general. So this is starting to get our information that we need for the general lighting and general use receptacles. Okay, so first thing it says, it tells us 3 square feet for the outside dimension of the dwelling unit. And it is no different than what we learned back at the standard. So it ain't like you got to learn something new. It's the same, 3 VA. You're not doing anything different. Makes it easy, right? All right, so note differently. It says the dwelling floor plan has an outside dimension of, and we saw what that is, outside dimension of 35 by 55, but there's an open porch with a dimension of, and it's 7 by 10, right? So that would be 70 square feet, right? Since the open porches are not included in the total, the 7 is deducted from the 1925. Now, again, where did we get the 1925? Well, glad you asked. 35 times 55 is 1925, okay? So that's where we get it, 1925. So we're going to take away from that 70 square feet. Why? Because you don't have that. Now, if you're asking, Oh, where does it say that in the code? Well, let's go look. Right here. All right, and let me get rid of this real quick so you can get full screen here. All right, so see, here's where we get the 3VA for general lighting and general use receptacles, right? So here it says, when calculating the floor area, you shall not include open porches. And in the optional method, which differs from the standard method, you're not including garages or unused or unfinished spaces not adaptable for future use. So difference between the standard method and the optional method, okay? So we're not included. So in our case, we're not including open porches. So that is where we got to take off that 70 square foot, right? Makes sense? All right, so that 1925 minus the 70 square feet, which is at 7 by 10, is 1855. Don't trust me. Do the math yourself. 1855. Now, just like in the standard method, this optional method says, okay, it's 3VA per square foot, right? And we have 1,855 right now. So we're going to do 1,855 times 3VA, because that's what it tells us in 220.82b1, okay? Following along in your code book. So let's just do that times 3, and that's 5,565. Okay, so that's our first. So that is our general lighting and receptacle load, general use, okay? We haven't done anything with appliances, small appliance circuits, laundry. That's just our general use. You notice this is very similar to the standard method. The one big difference is, you remember in the standard method, once we get the general use and lighting, and then we get the small appliance, and then we get the laundry, then we go when we apply demands in 220.45, we start applying these demands to it. Not yet. Not when it comes to the optional method. We're just adding stuff up. That's all we're doing, okay? All right, so that's your first step. That's your general use. And that general use is going to cover the receptacles in your bedrooms, living rooms, basements, all that type of stuff. All gets covered, right, in this general use, okay? And all your general lighting, okay? All right, so we got this part covered, okay? Got this first part covered right here. All right, let's move on. All right, the next part we'll be looking at is 220.82b2. We got the first part. You wrote it down. Now we're looking at the small appliance. Now, what does it say in the National Electrical Code? Well, if you look under 220.82b, and of course we will, right here, here's the second one right here. And it says you use 1,500 VA for each 2-wire 20 amp small appliance branch circuit. And of course, so we don't have to come back here again for this one, also it's 1,500 for each laundry branch circuit, okay? So that's where that is. So I just want to go on and knock and kill two birds with one stone in that application. Okay, so we're just talking about small appliance right now. What's up, Larry? Thanks for joining us here. Angel, good morning. Thanks for joining me over on Facebook. Appreciate you. All right, so we know we have 4, and we saw what the code said, 1,500 VA each. Easy peasy, right? All you're going to do is 1,500 VA times 4. And that's going to be 6,000. No demands. Don't try to multiply this by this. No, just write it down. Okay, so it's 6,000 for the small appliance. Easy peasy. We're rolling along. Next, laundry. Well, we don't have to go back and look at 220.82b2 because we already looked at it a second ago and we saw that, hey, the laundry is also 1,500. We got 2 laundry circuits. Okay. Simple, easy peasy. 2 times 1,500, that's 3,000. All you're going to do, add it to the list. Okay. Just adding the different lists up, okay? Okay, now, we're going to bring, just like we did in the standard method that we did a couple weeks ago, we're going to bring everything together. And it's important for me to remind you folks that are preparing for an exam, you're more than likely going to have to do the standard method that we did a couple weeks ago. Make sure you go back and watch that series on Coffee Hour because you're going to need to know how to do that because that's typically what they put on exams because there's so many steps. They want to make sure you understand how to use the NEC. The optional method is what you're going to use day in and day out in the field. It's based on diversity. And we have come to expect that in every house that I've ever wired, and I've wired my share, I was an active contractor for years. And I always did my calculations. I never did a rule of thumb. I never did the square foot method. I always calculated my stuff out. I never just guessed at anything. One, because it was fun for me to do the calc. I know some people don't like to do it. I just enjoyed it. Okay, so I'm always calculating. I'm always looking for the appliances. I want to know. It was a mission for me to find out what was the actual calculated load for this dwelling. And it's just me. Not everybody's wired the same way as I am. I get it. But it was what I like to do, and I did it with every house. So in this, Fernando, good morning from South Carolina. Judah, good morning. #win. Thanks for getting in on the spin. And we're going to spin here in just a second. All right. So again, different, but we pull everything together. So we saw that it was 5,565. That was our general lighting. Okay. We have 6,000 for our small appliance. Yep. We have 3,000 for our laundry, which was 2 laundry circuits. This was 4 small appliances, by the way. Now, here's where we begin to do things differently than what we did. What's up, is that RL or RJ? I can't tell. But good morning from Florida. I think it's RI. Good morning from Florida. And also Fernando's over on the tube, enjoying the stream from Fast Tracks Tube. I love to see it. Outdoor Man, #win. Thanks for joining. All right, Ronaldo, I got you. Ronaldo from Florida. Thanks for being here. You too, Frank. Thank you for being here, my friend. All right, so here's where it starts to get different. Now, note that 220.82a, B, and C is what we'll be working with here once with these values. Now, A is simply setting the parameters. Okay, so if you go take your code book and you look at 220.82a, it's just setting the parameters up, and we'll go look at that. These are just the parameters in A. Okay, so let's go look at A. A right here. A is just setting up the parameters, okay, for feeders and service loads, okay? Section applies to dwelling units having a total connected load, okay, served by a 120/240 volt or a 208Y120 set of 3-wire service or feeder conductors with an ampacity, okay, so here 100 or greater, okay? So the optional method's only applying if it's 100 amps or greater. So you're going to have to do a calculation to determine whether it's 100 amps or greater. If it's a really small unit to a feeder and you do the calculation and it is under 100 amps, then you're going to have to switch over to the standard method for your calculation, okay? So again, only can apply the optional method if you're sitting in a situation where it's going to be 100 amps or greater, okay? And it says it shall be permissible to calculate the feeder or service loads in accordance with this section. Not required. It's like we say, it's optional. You can use the standard method every day of the week if you want to. And so on exams, they typically use the standard method. And of course, remember that it reminds us that we also, here it says for the neutral, that conductors whose calculated load is determined by this optional calc shall be permitted to have the neutral load determined by 220.61. Remember, folks, 220.61 is situated in part 3. So it's imperative that you don't just in your life say, well, I'm just going to always use the optional method. There's people out there that say, oh, don't worry about the standard method. You never have to worry about it. You do. Unless you're going to size that neutral the same size as your ungrounded hots in your calculation of the optional, then you can get away with it and say, screw it. I'm just going to make it all one size. If you use an SE cable, the sizes of the conductors inside are already dictated for you, and there's a high probability that the neutral conductor that is in like an SEU is going to be it can't be more than 2 sizes smaller than your ungrounded hot conductors. So chances are your neutral in a residential is never going to be higher than that. So it's already done for you. So we kind of get complacent in that by buying cables that are already constructed based on certain UL standards like UL 854 for SE cable. But it's still important that you understand that some of you may be running individual conductors and you do have to size it. Now, one thing you could do is say, well, I'm never going to make my neutral in a residential, never going to make it smaller than 2 times the size of my ungrounded hots in my calculation. And you're probably going to, rule of thumbs, you'd be okay, right? But I think it's imperative you know how to do it. And on an exam, you got to know how to do it, okay? So anyway, A is what sets the tone. 220.82 sets the tone, lets you know that you can use this optional method and how it's to be applied. Fair enough? Okay. Now, it reminds us again that you can use the standard method. Okay, so you get the option to use both, but in the optional, it's got to be at least 100 amps to be able to use the optional. Okay, so let's bring this good stuff together here. So we've got the general lighting, we've got the small appliance, we've got the laundry. Add them up. Don't trust me. Get those calculators. The best people that learn the code are those that are actively involved in the process. Okay, and I know some of you are driving. I get it. So don't take your hands off the wheel to try to calculate something. I don't want to be that guy that gets referenced in some lawsuit because somebody said, Paul said, take your hands off the wheel to do a calculation. I'm going to end up on some episode of Cops or something. Hands on the wheel. Focus ahead. You can always watch this later. All right, so I'm going to do 5565 plus 6,000 plus, always check our math, is 14,565. That's what I got. There you go. 14,565. Okay. So unlike the standard method, we're not doing any demands yet. We're just taking this number and we're carrying it forward. That's all we're doing. So our total general lighting and general use receptacle load at this point is 14,565. Write it down if you can write it down. There we go. So we're there. Now, real quick, let's go give some stuff away because I like to give some stuff away or at least get you on the list. And I did get your email, Dominic, so we will make sure we get you taken care of. All right, so let's go on and remember hashtag win to spin to win. Let's go. And I'm going to do it right now. Let's go. The drawing is going to be on or about March 31st. And trust me, I'll let you know if you win. There'll be an episode that'll have your name on the screen and you'll be able to watch it. It'll be played multiple times. Samantha, over on YouTube this time. I think you've been over on, I think you followed us before over on LinkedIn too. I think so. All right, Samantha. Let's see what you can win here. What you can get on a drawing. What we got going on. Anything you folks see you, Val? I see you in there with the hashtag win. I see you, Trenton. Thanks for Carissa. I see you, Carissa, New Brunswick, Texas. All right, Samantha, you're in on the drawing for our grounding and bonding course. That's I can't remember, it's $300, right around $300 value for that course. So you're in the drawing for that. So let me write you down. All right, congratulations, you're in on that drawing. Okay. And let's redo it again. Let's have some others here. Let's go. Hashtag win, all caps. Hashtag WIN. You're in on that drawing, Samantha. That's a great course, by the way. And it never expires. So it's a beautiful thing. And there's not many people registered for that, so you're increasing. You have a high chance of winning. David Bueno. All right, David. Let's see here. Make sure I get you down here, David. Let's see what you get, my friend. Let's see if you can win something instant or you're going to be in a drawing. Let's go. I love getting people in drawings. We've got a lot of people in the drawings, folks. It's going to be a great drawing. We're going to have a special show for that. I'm going to give away as much as I can give away. All right, David, we got Fast Track Scoop for 12 months. If you already have it, we can extend it. Just let me know what you want to do. If you want to spin again, we'll spin again for you. I don't have a problem with that. Let's do real quick somebody else. Oops, started too early. You see anybody in the chat, David, you want to gift it to? You can do that too. We love the gifting. Welcome, Domingo. All right, Rob Nickman's over on the tube. All right. All right, Rob, let's see what you win, my friend. social medias. You're rocking it, brother. I appreciate you. All right, Nick, you're in the drawing for Ohm's Wheel coin. In the drawing for an Ohm's Wheel coin. And I can't help but spin for Adam. So, Adam, we're going to spin. Try to give Adam something. He's representing us out there with Feed the Hog shirts and hoodies. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. And y'all folks don't realize that the shirts and stuff we make on it because they're print to order. We don't make a lot of that stuff, but we appreciate everybody really sharing it, and we love it. The hog's going to be huge. We already have a mass interest in the hog. It is working, and we just did an update yesterday to the hog, even making it smarter. Estimating course. So, Adam, you're in on that bidding and estimating course. That is amazing, especially for anybody that wants to be in business. So I'm gonna put you down for that. I have not had that course from this guy. You know what? I'm telling you. I'm just saying, probably Steve Griffin is probably the best estimator out there, and he does a course, and it's amazing. I am so blessed to have him as a friend. That is worth getting in the drawing on, my friend. Congratulations on that. Okay. All right, you don't have it. All right, David, cool. David doesn't have Fast Tracks Tube. So, David, all you got to do is go to fasttrackstube.com. That's FASTTRAXTUBE.com. And at the top, you see where it says membership. Click on it and choose a free membership. Fill out, get your username, fill out everything, and then we'll see it. And we will elevate you. Give us a couple of days to do that after you register, and we will elevate you to an annual membership, and you get 12 months of access to Fast Tracks Tube, the fastest growing video platform for electricians. That is awesome. All right, guys, let's get back to the lesson. All right, so we got that out of the way. For those that are taking notes, we went and we did the square footage, 3 VA per square footage. We did all that math. We got the small appliances, and we got the laundry. If you came in late, you can always watch the replay. Okay. All right. So now that we got that out of the way, next we can start looking at those appliances that we're working on. Okay. So if you look right here, the appliances are a water heater, a dishwasher, an in-sink waste disposer, a trash compactor, and we got 3 attic fans that have a total of 12.6. That's all 3. They're 4.2 each. Okay. So those are our appliances. Okay, we'll also see how we're going to apply the dryer and yada, yada, yada. But those that are appliances off the fact. Now, y'all know me. One of the first things that I like to do is anytime that I'm doing math and I get a horsepower, I know that I have to convert that and try to get a VA value. So we're going to do that right now just because I want to show you the exercise. So here it's a half horsepower at 115 volts. So if you've never done it before, this is how we do it. We're going to go over to the code real quick. And this is one of the things I always want to do first is try to convert. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I got to find what the FLC is for this motor. So I'm going to go to 430. Y'all know that's motors. All my savvy code folk know that. And we're going to go down and we're going to go to, and on the electronic version, you got to scroll down and I got to cheat and go right here in order to be able to get there. You got to cheat it. And then it should go down. Then we can see it here. So let's see here. Are we looking at, all right, so that's direct current. So that's 247 is not the one. 248. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so this is table 430, 248. This is the FLC. And by the way, FLC is what you're going to use to size conductors for motors. You're going to use this for short circuit ground fault protection value. You're going to be using this for conductor sizing in 430.22. But when it comes to overloads, you're not going to be using this. You'll be using the nameplate value, okay? Just so you kind of little mini lesson on motors real quick. All right, so ours was a half horsepower. So let's see, it's right here. And scroll down a little bit so y'all can see that. If I can, there we go. So it's a half horsepower. And we were in, and let's pin the top. Here we go. So it's 115. Right? That's what our disposer was. So it is 9.8. So y'all all know we're going to write that down, 9.8 amps. That's what it is. All right? Okay, so that's our FLC. That's how we found it. And we'll come back to the lesson real quick. And so that half horsepower is 9.8. So y'all know Ohm's Law, Watt's Law, and we will be having a math coffee hour probably towards the end of the week where we'll be doing all the basic math stuff, all the stuff you probably know, but I want to make sure that I hammer it home so that you know. And what better way to enjoy a cup of coffee than a little math in the morning? I'm just saying. All right, so let's do our math here. So 9.8 times 115, because that's what's given to us in the question. So that's what we want to use, okay? And that gives me 1,127. Y'all see it right there on the calculator? Y'all familiar with this calculator? Been using it for 20 years. There it is right there. Okay, so maybe not 20 years, maybe 15 years, okay? I exaggerate. All right, so let me write that down. So it's 1,127 VA. You'll need that later, okay? So I like to get that stuff out of the way. Y'all know how I am. Just get those horsepower. Luckily, our other stuff was given to us in amps, so we still have to do the amps times the volts to get the VA, but that's a easy peasy to do that as we go. All right. Okay, so appliances. Utilization equipment commonly are built in standard sizes, okay? And we need to do, and that is a defined term, by the way. And what's up, John? I see you in here. Dan, I see you in here. Ben, I see you in here. Thanks for joining. Ben, let's do that hashtag in all caps and see if that can help you get in the drawing. So for the purpose of the load calculation, remember that KW rating will be the same as KVA. Y'all know I'm a KVA kind of guy. I like the VA. I like to get everything solved in VA because it makes our calculation better, okay? Now, horsepower ratings must be converted to VA. Y'all saw me do that a minute ago before they can be utilized in our calculation. So obviously you see what I did. We went to table 430.248, okay? We did it. We took that half horsepower. We went down. It was 9.8. Do that, multiply that by 115. Boom, bada bing, bada bang. That's what we got, okay? Now, one huge difference in the optional method versus the standard or part 3 method is you do not get to apply the 75% demand reduction when you have 4 or more appliances. And you're not going to need to because you're already going to get this massive break in this calculation. So that's one big difference is, and it's the easy part about the optional method is all we're doing is adding these things up. That's it. Okay? That's all we're doing is adding it up. So again, that's a huge difference. So when people ask me what's the difference between the standard versus optional, one big difference is how you treat the appliances, okay? So we don't do that 75% thing, okay? So you must account for all appliances at their nameplate value. But have no fear, we got you covered later for the demand reduction. So again, you're going to be able to apply demand, but it comes later. So we just want to add everything up, okay? And if you didn't know, again, multiply the voltage by the amperage, and that's what gets us the VA, okay? All right, so here's our appliances. I saved you the labor. We did the math for you. So here you've got a water heater, dishwasher, in-sink waste disposer, trash compactor, 3 attic fans, 4.2 amps each. We already did this conversion right here. So 4,500 kW. We know that this is actually 4,500 VA. You know how I like VA. So they're synonymous. So they mean the same, okay? That dishwasher, 10 times 120. Yes, you use what's given to you, even though you see others at 115. Use what's given to you, okay? And okay, so a dishwasher is more an appliance than it is a motor. It may have an internal motor, but it is more an appliance, utilized equipment. Whereas an in-sink waste disposer is still an appliance, but it is also a motor. Okay, it's given to us in horsepower rating where dishwashers are not. All right, so we did the math, 9.8 amps times 115. That's where we got that. You saw we did that a minute ago. We got that trash compactor at 7.5 amps times 120 volts. That's what's given to us in the question or our calculation. So that is 900 VA. And we had those 3 attic fans. We just added all of those 4.2 together like they did in the question, and that gives us 12.6. And we do those at times 120 volts as well, so that's 1,512. Don't trust me? Don't trust me. Trust me. Don't trust me. So 12.6 times 120 is 1,512. So, okay, there. Now, add all these up. Okay, I'm going to add them up together. Okay, 4,500 plus 1200 plus 1127 plus 900 plus 1512. And that is 9,239. Okay. But wait, if we look at 220.82b3, we also include the ranges, wall mount. You think you're done. You're thinking, okay, standard method. Now I had to do something separate for dryers, and I had to do something separate for cooking. Okay. But wait, you're going to see how those get added in as well. But just for now, all of these fixed appliances are 9,239. Okay. All right. So we bring that 9,239, we keep it going, and now we look at the dryer. Now, you remember something about the standard method, which said that when it comes to a clothes dryer in 220.54, it said it's 5,000 or the nameplate, whichever is greater. You remember that? Well, what's different in the optional? Well, the optional method doesn't care about all that mamby-pamby stuff. The optional method just says, dude, just give me the nameplate. What's that nameplate? Well, our nameplate was 5.5 or 5,500 watts. Well, that's all you get. Just write it down. So that's what we do. So we look at this, and of course, this is 5,500 VA. This is 5.5 kVA, 5.5 kW, or it could be 5,500 watts. Y'all know I like VA because that's how we do the math. But again, all synonymous. Okay. Now, one thing I will remind you that remember that conversation we had about neutral? Up to this point, except for the appliances where you had the water heater, up to this point, everything that was 120 or 115 still is a neutral load. So you're going to take all that. But when it comes to the optional method, when I'm doing the calculation for the neutral, remember, I'm going to use the standard method for the calculation for the neutral, not the optional, the standard method, which we calculated, okay? So you're going to have a neutral calculation. So at the end of the day, even if you're doing an optional calculation in the real world, you're still going to probably have to do a neutral calculation, unless you do what I said earlier, just say screw it and full size it, that type of thing, or use a standardized cable that you already know. There's probably, if it's a 4-aught aluminum SE, for example, you already know that the neutral is going to be at least 2-aught, and so you're not coming anywhere close to that. That's just off-the-shelf stuff. So again, if you're using an SE cable, you would get lazy. It does it for us, that type of thing. All right. But anyway, just remember, neutral calculations use a standard method. Okay. So it says, so we can again carry over that 9239, which was from our appliances, fixed appliances, fastened in place, permanently connected. And now we add that clothes dryer to it, which was 5,500. That's the nameplate. So don't trust me. 9,239 plus 5,500 is 14,739. And that's what we have on the screen. So we just added those two together. Easy peasy, right? All right. So we take that value, carry it over. What about that cooking? Easy peasy. You're just taking the nameplates. That's it. Adding it to it. So you just keep that method going. So we're going to take the 7,000 VA, converting it to VA. Okay. K being 1,000, W being watts. So 7,000 watts. That's how that works. K means kilo. And we take the wall-mounted oven at 6 kW, which is 6,000 VA or 6,000 watts. I like to work in VA, so we're working in VA. So I take that 14,739 from the previous, and now I'm going to add 7,000 and 6,000 to it, and I'm going to make sure that I'm right. So I'm going to do 7,000 plus 6,000. And I have 27,739. What, you don't believe me? Right there. Okay, right there. Now, the cooking load itself, if I was asked a question about using the optional method, what is my cooking load? Then obviously the cooking load is just 7 plus 6, which is 13. Okay, so you could get weird questions, and so be very cognizant of the question. Make sure you really focus on it, because they can ask you some weird stuff on an exam if you're preparing for an exam. So just be aware of that. All right. So we're moving forward with our math here. So we're bringing this all together. General lighting, receptacles, small appliance, and laundry. We had 14,565. You remember that from before. And we took all of our fastened in place appliances, and we included the wall-mounted oven, the counter-mounted cooking, and we did the dryer. And that ended up being 27,739, right? Okay, so we added all that together. Now, here's where the magic happens, okay, when it comes to working with the optional method. Here's where the magic happens. When you start looking now in 220.82b, this is what it tells you. And we're going to go look at it real quick because I want to show you. All right, let's get back to it real quick. I wish I had a back button. Hey, NFPA, give me a back button. Make my life easier. Come on. Come on, brah. All right, so here we go. So we're back here. So B. Now, here's what it says right here. Now, remember, we did all this right here. Okay? Now, one other thing I'll add to you that people ask me, they say, what if the thing that I have here is not covered in those items, right? Hold on for a second. I'm going to lose my TikTok, people. Then you have this one right here. It says, for example, it says the nameplate ampere or kW rating of all permanently connected motors not included in this, and we did include ours, but any of them that would not be in this list but does have a permanently connected motor, you need to make sure you just add to this list that we're going to apply demands to. Okay, so just because it doesn't nice and tidily fit in this example, if I have something else in the real world that is a motor or something, then I'm going to add it here. If I have another appliance that's we just listed a few. This is where you bring them in. This is where you'd add it in, okay? All right, so just wanted to make sure, okay? Also, I want to also point out the subtleties here because people ask me this question. What about other things, Paul? Yes, it says all fastened in place, permanently connected or located to be on a specific circuit. For example, appliances. I will remind you that EVSE units are appliances, okay? Wow, ready for your mind to be blown? Boom, okay? Everybody asks that question. You just add it to the list. Don't make it more complicated than it is, okay? You got to account for the load, guys. Don't lose focus on what we're doing. This is just basically throwing everything in the pot, and we're going to be able to apply a demand factor to it. Now, standard was done differently. This is done in one big lump, except for the heating and cooling, which is separate. But this is how it's done. Okay, so we go back here. This was everything that we just talked about right here, thrown in the pot. And here it says the general calculated load, which is what we did. Remember, calculated means taking all the loads and adding them up, okay? Now we're going to apply the demands to it. So we're going to come up with a total calculation. So we did everything, and it is the total calculated load at the end, which what we're getting ready to do. We took all the connected stuff, added it up, did our calcs. The total calculated load at the end is not less than 100% for the first 10,000 plus 40% for the remaining. So we're taking 10,000 right off the get-go and putting it to the side. Just taking 10,000 of our value, putting it to the side. Makes sense? All right, so if you look right here in my example, we took the two and added together. That gives us 42,304. Okay, all right. I believe that was right. Let's see here. Let me go back real quick because I got to check my math and I didn't fix the slide. So let's see here. I want to just go back and check. All right. 14, general line 14,565. Let's do it because I like to. Yep, so that's right. And then our total for, let's see here. For the, I love going back, 9 plus adding all the others together gave us 27,739. Okay, we're good. So let's add these two together to make sure the math works out for us. At 14,565 plus 27,739 is 42,304. Okay, All right. So as it said, the very first 10,000, plop it out of that number, stick it to the side because you're going to add it back later, but stick it to the side and work with the remainder. So 42,304 minus 10 is 32,304. That's when you do that part. You took the 10 up to the side. The remainder is at 40%. So I'm taking that 32,304, multiplying that by 0.40 or 40%, depending on your calculator. And that should give you 12,921.6. The 0.6, we're able to round up. And so what we do is we make it 12,922. So that is going to be our steps for B, 220.82B. Okay, that's our value for that. All right. And you see how this is different than the standard method. We're applying, we take the first 10, right? Now, that was 12,922. And again, we have to bring back that original 10 that we set aside, right? That's how we got the 22,922. But we're not done yet because now we have to move on to what? We have to do the heat versus AC, which is what we're going to cover in tomorrow's episode, right? Cliffhanger. All right. So let's go back and give away a couple more things. Okay. Let's just spin the wheel and see what we can give away. If you got any questions, feel free to ask them. I'd love to answer them for you. All right, Trenton. Let me get this all down here. A long name there, Trenton. Okay. Let's see what you win, my friend, or get registered for. How do you get in on the spin? You do just like that right there. Kendra did. Hashtag win. That's how you get in on the spin. A lot of stuff on this front. Still haven't fixed my spelling error. What the? Okay, Trenton, you're in the drawing for the best bid next generation estimating software. It's like a $4,000 value. It's amazing. It is the right way to price jobs. It's the right way to even small or large job. And it is so easy to learn. And it is, in my opinion, the best estimating software in the world. You're in the drawing. You didn't win it yet. You're in the drawing. Okay, the March 31st, everybody that wins, their name will be in a special episode that you can come back to watch. And I will let you know, it'll say winners episode, and you can see your name and you can see what you won if your name was drawn and that type of thing. So, and we'll try to have a special episode also that I'll link to that shows the drawing because I want to be very transparent, put all your names in a drawing and show you live if you want to attend that episode and that type of thing. But anyway, so there you go. Best bid software. That is awesome. Nothing like that best bid software. It's amazing. Okay. All right, let's do another person. Let's go. Hashtag win. All caps. All caps. Hashtag all caps. WIN. All cap. All right, Dan. Look at that. Adam's on his day off and he's with us. Dude, that's what I'm talking about. That's dedication. That's appreciated, my friend. All right, let's spin the wheel for you, Dan. Let's see what you get. Another person getting, I'm still spelling estimating wrong. Must be dyslexic. So Dan, you get another drawing in you. I think you already have one for this, but the more you're in, the more odds you get to win because your name will go in there twice. So again, for folks out there that wonder, is it only one name goes in when you win it? No, if you get a drawing, every time you get selected, your name will go in it again. So you increase your odds of winning. Okay, so let's see here. That is amazing prize. All right, I'm feeling generous. Let's do another one. Hashtag win, get in on the spin. Let's go. Feeling generous today. I want to give away some stuff. Get you in on the drawing. These are big prizes, $300 and $400 to $4,000 giveaways that we're doing. Courses, all kinds of stuff. We've got our best courses. Everything is being given away. Look at all the things on that wheel. Mike, new names. Thanks for joining us, Mike. All right. For those that are watching on other platforms, the only way you can get into spin is if you do hashtag capital WIN on our platforms. Okay. And I don't know that it works over on Instagram. I do not think it does. So if you're watching over on Instagram, leave that platform. Come on over to our YouTube platform. You have the best chance of winning for that. All right. So Mike, let's see what you're going to win here. What you going to get in on, Mike? Let's go. What can we get for Mike? Appreciate all you joining us. I know y'all don't come just for the giveaways and that type of thing. Well, hopefully we learn something about code and something, to make your life a little easier in the field. Multi top card. Okay, VD card drawing. We're getting a lot of those away. So make sure you get in on the spin and you have an opportunity to win all this type of stuff. Drawing will be around about this date here, and it will be all transparent online, so you can see it all, and you will actually can watch me draw names in a live show, special presentation, and then we'll have a follow-up video that'll have all the names of the winners. So, and we'll replay it many times, so you'll be able to get it. Okay. All right, folks. Thanks for joining me today on this coffee hour. Hope you got something out of it. And I did. I enjoy every minute that we're together. Thanks. Hopefully you get your day started. Be safe out there. It's the beginning of the week. Get out there and get your hustle going. Got a side hustle going. Make that money. If you're interested in the Trade Hog, where he's right there, check it out. Do me a favor. All of you that are watching, take a few minutes. Go to tradehog.net. Tradehog.net and just play with it. I'll let you play with the free version for a couple times on there so you can see how it actually can benefit you in the field. Maybe if you're in the field, test it out. If you have a question on something and you're in the field and you're like, dude, let me just pull up the hog. And I'm like, I'm going to ask it, what is the spacing requirement for receptacles in a kitchen or whatever? Just test it out. It learns every time you test it. We appreciate you. Feed that hog and help it learn. And it is going to be an amazing resource. We're excited. Even with all this other AI that comes out, none of it is designed to bring back specific trade information. We are training the model. We're feeding the model. We're using the AI assistant to add in documents. We're really trying to expand it. We keep adding to it daily. We think it's getting smarter and smarter, and we think that you'll really like it in the field. And then the Office Hog is just an amazing bonus. I mean, I use the Office Hog itself to create marketing content or YouTube titles, and I use it for many things. You can cut and paste anything in it and ask it to analyze it. That's one neat feature. Is take a sentence of a contract that's something you don't understand and cut and paste it in there and ask it to explain it. It'll explain it. So it's just a cool feature. The Office Hog is included with the Trade Hog. I think it's the best subscription out there. $19.95 gets you the basic plan, more than what you need. The premium, which gives you a lot more questions you can ask without it shutting you off. So again, you determine your need, but we're excited about the Trade Hog. It's one of the most exciting products that we put out in years. Of course, we still have our courses to teach you the NEC. We appreciate everybody that purchases our courses, or Fast Tracks Tube has a subscription over there. We appreciate you. You have no idea. It helps me be able to do what I do. And it does help me to be able to bring you this free content that we do. So folks, till next time, stay safe. God bless. Join me tomorrow where we'll move into 220.82c and we will look at the AC and the heat and how that works. And then we will put everything together and show you the final calculation for the same dwelling that we did for the standard method. And I think you're going to be surprised at the conductor size differences and how diversity plays when you're doing the optional method. All right? All right, folks. Remember, share, like, Let other people know. Let the people you work with know about coffee hour. Join us in the morning. Get that coffee going. Relax or listen to us in the car. However you do it, we appreciate you. Till next time, folks, stay safe. God bless.